The Finger Lakes region of upstate New York is beautiful. And just about 7 miles south of the lakeside town of Canandaigua is Parsons Pipe Organ Builders. They happen to be building First Lutheran Church's new organ. Let's go inside. When we first stepped into Parsons' big shop in early September, we thought, where's the organ? The answer? It's in a lot of pieces spread across a big building. And all of those pieces don't come together until early 2020. When the First Lutheran Organ Committee first contacted them, Parsons had to know some very key things.
They knew very specifically what they wanted, and it was our job to figure out if we were a match for that. Here we wanted a mechanical key action, so that's commonly called a tracker action. That's the first thing we do really, is determine where's the console going to go, where's the organist going to sit. The trackers connect the console to the mechanism. We look at the space available and determine if all those sounds are possible. And so we have a good idea that we can deliver what we say we will.
And as soon as First Lutheran committed to having them build the organ, the work started on the design.
We design everything in a 3D CAD system.
This is the view from the sanctuary of the First Lutheran organ case. So these are the facade pipes. All of them will be speaking. The biggest pipe is about 17, 18 feet tall.
There's a long list of considerations.
Where the things like the blower needs to be, mechanicals that you have to keep track of as you're designing. So some of those main things, where the wind's going to come in the organ, where the power is going to be for the organ. Then we also need to think about how the organ's going to be laid out. So where are the pipes for each keyboard going to be located?
How wind flows, how wind turns corners, whether inside a system. We make all our wind trunks out of wood. We have to pay attention to wind resistance.
We get a 3D tour of the organ. It's a complex mechanism. Most of what you see will be hidden behind the main facade of big pipes. We start at the wind system. It maintains consistent air pressure to the next system, the wind chests. The wind chests support the pipes and contain the valves controlled by the keyboard's keys at the organ console, a system by itself.
Everything is very specific, and especially in a console layout, how your feet and hands reach everything. What accessory buttons are there to allow an organist to quickly make a change that is typical during a worship service.
As work progresses, there are a lot of staff meetings. Meetings on the construction schedule.
So they designed the chest. Right now we're building the chests that the pipes sit on. These big, large air boxes that send air to the pipes, we call a chest. And then the next step would be to rack the pipes and fit the thousands of pipes properly on these chests. So we have to make sure the chests are done by this date so the racking can start, and after racking is chest assembly, installing all the components, and then you have the setup and testing, and you got to make sure that the woodworkers have the structure built before the chest can go in the organ. So there's just a lot of moving parts. So we're all communicating with each other to make sure that everybody is on target, on task, so that the project doesn't go on and on and on for too long.
Meetings to order key parts so they arrive in time. Coordination meetings to efficiently use time and stay on schedule. One thing you notice, everyone is obsessed with the tiniest of details.
We kind of have a mantra here, which I'm sure exists in other businesses, but it is all about details. That's what makes an organ stand apart from an average organ and be a joy to play and be thrilling to play and listen to.
This is one of the many pieces that's already being made here in early September 2019 for the First Lutheran organ. This piece happens to be called a wedge bellows. And here it is in the CAD design. It's a centuries-old mechanical design to maintain consistent air pressure under all playing conditions.
And we can look upon centuries of previous organ builders. We can go see an organ that was built 500 years ago and see what they did.
But even though Parsons looks at centuries-old organs for ideas, they don't overlook the present. The mechanical linkage from key to pipe uses carbon fibers. They're the long, thin lines running horizontally and vertically in this view of the design. They're lightweight, low mass, and very durable. Another example, they use many new kinds of plastics because they work better than the original materials and last much longer. And lasting a long time is vital when building an organ.
Everything we do here is going to last for centuries. Not just 1 century, but if this organ isn't water damaged or fire damaged, it's going to last forever.
Some things are fairly easy to build, not a pipe organ. It's extremely labor-intensive, and each one's a custom project. An example is the process of voicing, giving the organ its audible personality. Here's how that works.
Let's see what this sounds like fresh from the pipe maker. It doesn't sound very pretty. So what I do to voice the pipe is I adjust all these parameters. I adjust how much wind comes in the toe. I adjust how much wind comes out of the little slit there that's called the flue. And these little projections on the side here are known as ears that are on either side of the mouth.
He'll keep tweaking that pipe for about 10 minutes to remove the unwanted overtones until he's happy. Let's listen to the difference. Before voicing, after voicing. Before, after. Now this is just one pipe. Our organ has about 2,500 pipes. And there will be more voicing when the final voicing is done by Parsons' tonal director. 2,500 times. But they also use state-of-the-art computer-controlled machines for precision, repeatability, and speed. You see this milling machine making a plaque for First Lutheran featuring the First Lutheran and Parsons logos. It took longer for the finish to dry on it than it did to make it. Once the various systems are ready to go, the really time-consuming work begins. They put it all together.
The longest operation is once we have everything built and setting it up and getting it to, because we set up the entire organ here in the shop. So it's playing and perfectly in order before we go to your church. So we spend 3-4 months here setting it up, so it only takes 2 weeks at your church.
So when it's ready for the trip to Cedar Rapids, it's perfect. Why so much work? Why the obsession with details? Rick Parsons has the answer.
For us, we know that nothing is possible outside the Lord, right? I mean, we're blessed to do what we do, to build organs that people used to worship. I mean, that's really our focus. That's why I do what I do, and a lot of people here are the same, share that.
I hope you've learned a few things about building organs, like how much a labor of love it is, the obsession with quality, the attention to detail. The result? A pipe organ that, with the right attention, will last for centuries.